It was a quiet evening, one of those nights where the world slows just enough for you to notice every small detail. I had been working late, trying to finish a report, but my thoughts kept drifting to her, my wife, the woman I had loved for years, the one who shared my life, my home, and my heart. I knew it had been weeks since we'd been truly close. Weeks of side hugs, polite kisses, and dinners eaten in silence. I had hoped maybe tonight would be different. I asked gently, careful not to sound frustrated, "When will we be intimate again?" I didn't want to pressure her. I just wanted closeness, to feel the bond we once shared. The answer hit harder than any rejection I'd ever faced. She looked at me casually, almost dismissively, and said, "I already was yesterday." The words hung there, suffocating and heavy. My mind froze. I tried to process what she had said, and slowly, the reality settled in. She hadn't just been rejecting me. She had been with someone else while I was here, waiting, hoping, believing our connection was unbreakable. I wanted to shout, to demand answers, to accuse. But I didn't. I remembered all the arguments I'd swallowed, the nights I lay awake alone, convincing myself things would change. All those efforts now felt meaningless. My heart raced, filled with betrayal, anger, and disbelief. Every memory, every promise we had made, now felt tainted. I couldn't reconcile the woman I thought I knew with the reality in front of me. The woman I had trusted, married, and loved had been lying, and the lie wasn't minor. It was deliberate, intimate, and devastating. I walked the room, trying to steady myself. I replayed her words in my head, examining every nuance, every inflection, every hint I had missed. The silence between us was louder than any argument could have been. I realized I couldn't keep living like this, pretending, hoping, waiting for a love that had already shifted elsewhere. That night, I didn't sleep. I didn't cry. I sat in the dark, thinking about trust, love, and the crushing weight of betrayal. Deep down, I knew a decision had to be made. A life where I was deceived in the most intimate way was no longer acceptable. The next morning, she moved around the kitchen as if nothing had happened, brewing coffee, humming softly, chatting casually about the day ahead. Every word, every gesture, felt like salt on a wound I hadn't yet acknowledged. I couldn't let it slide. I had to confront her, not out of anger, but to understand the depth of the betrayal. "Claire," I said quietly, my voice calm but firm. She looked up, smiling as if for the usual morning greeting. But the smile faltered when she saw the seriousness in my eyes. "We need to talk," I continued. She nodded, a flicker of apprehension crossing her face. "I asked you about intimacy, hoping for honesty, closeness, something real between us," I said. "Instead, I found out you already had it yesterday with someone else." Her eyes widened, panic flashing across them. "James the First," she started. I raised my hand. "Don't. I don't need excuses. I don't need half-truths. I need the truth." She swallowed hard, her voice trembling. "It wasn't what you think. It was a mistake. I didn't mean for it to happen. I love you. You know I do." "Love?" I felt my chest tighten. Was that really love, or just a word to soften the blow of her actions? Love doesn't hide behind deception. "Claire, love doesn't choose someone else while claiming me as its own. And I can't accept that anymore," I said, steady and firm. For a long moment, silence hung between us. The apartment seemed to hold its breath. The ticking clock felt louder than her heartbeat. She sat down, tears brimming in her eyes, and I felt the weight of years of unspoken disappointments pressing down on both of us. "I don't know what to do," she whispered, barely audible. I took a deep breath. "I do. I need to protect myself. I need to protect the love I have left for what's right. That means I cannot continue in this marriage while my trust has been broken this way." Her shoulders slumped. She wanted to argue, to plead, to convince me otherwise. But the truth had already settled. I wasn't acting out of anger. I was acting out of clarity. Years of small betrayals had led to this moment, and I understood some lines, once crossed, cannot be uncrossed. The following days were quiet, but far from peaceful. Claire remained in the apartment, but the space between us felt insurmountable. Every glance, Every word, every silence reminded me of the breach that could not be fixed with empty apologies. I had always believed love could endure storms, but this was different. I spent hours reflecting on our marriage, the late nights I tried to be attentive, the countless attempts to rekindle intimacy, the compromises I made to maintain harmony. They all felt wasted. Trust, once fractured, doesn't heal overnight. Claire's intimate betrayal made it impossible to ignore. When she tried to explain, to plead, I listened but remained resolute. "James meant nothing," she said, voice shaking. "It's not what it seems." I had already seen the pattern, the distance, the deflections, the hidden desires. It wasn't a single act. It was a series of choices that revealed who she truly was now. Love is not only words. It's actions, and actions over time reveal the clearest truth. I called for a calm conversation, sitting her down in the living room. "Claire," I said, "I need to live in a life where my heart is valued, where my trust isn't violated. This marriage, as it stands, cannot offer that." She cried, begged, tried to convince me it could be repaired. But I remained firm. Love without respect, honesty, and presence cannot survive. The memory of her text, the reality of her choices, left one thing clear. Staying would only prolong my pain and endanger the part of me that still believed in genuine connection. Within the week, we began separating our lives. She stayed with her sister while we handled practical matters, and I focused on my emotional healing. The nights were long and heavy with memories of what I thought we shared. Slowly, though, the weight of betrayal lifted as clarity replaced it. I deleted reminders of her betrayal, but kept the lesson. Trust is fragile. Love is powerful. And sometimes the bravest act of love is letting go. By stepping away, I protected my heart and paved the way for a future where love could exist without doubt, secrecy, or betrayal. In the end, the silence that followed wasn't empty. It was freeing. For the first time in months, I felt a strange peace, knowing I had chosen myself, my dignity, and a life where my heart mattered above all else.